Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Parmesh and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the first Godrej Good Green Conclave. I run something called the Godrej India Culture Lab and I work very closely with the teams at Godrej who are working on this exciting concept called Good and Green. So I want to tell you something about this before we begin our conclave. So Good and Green is the long-term vision of the Godrej Group through which we want to play a really active part in creating a much more inclusive and greener India. It's part of our vision for creating a brighter living for for everyone, for all our stakeholders. So, as part of our Good and Green vision, we want to. Well, thank you. I don't think it's like. Thank you. So, as part of our Good and Green vision, what we want to do is we want to. We've set ourselves this target of we want to do 3 things by the year 2020. We want to create a more employable Indian workforce, we want to create a greener India, and we want to innovate and create much better products. So we've got a whole bunch of targets like zero waste, carbon neutrality, positive water balance, reducing specific energy consumption, and also increasing the proportion of renewable energy in our energy usage. So these are targets for within the group, and we have an incredible team that is working very hard to achieve them. But we've also realized that to further this agenda, we need to have 2 more things. We need to build a community both within the Godrej Group and outside, and we need to have many conversations because a lot of the ideas that we might use in future might come from the community and from these conversations. And so we've decided from this year onwards to have a series of annual Good and Green conclaves, where we want to share some of the things that we've been doing, and we also want to learn, and we want to create these conversations around the environment and around sustainability, about things that make a difference to us, on the planet. Each conclave is going to focus on one issue every year, and we'll address it from different perspectives. So this year, the first conclave is based on the theme of water, and I'm really, really happy that all of you are here with us. Our conclave will have 3 sessions, and we're going to start from the small, and then we're going to move outward. So our first session is going to be about how individual initiatives are really creating a difference, work with individuals. Our second session is going to be about businesses, and how businesses are thinking creatively about water. And then our third session is going to move outward into how water risks and issues affect everyone on our planet. So it's starting small, going big, by the end of which hopefully we'll have a bunch of nuanced discussions and conversations, including some excellent presentations. I want to actually thank a bunch of people who've been organizing this, and we do this later as well, but we have this team with Seema, Veena, Chitranshu, Abhik, Soumya, everyone, and so many others who've been working tirelessly for the past couple of months to make this happen. And I also thank our incredible speakers across the 3 sessions. I had dinner with them last night, and I'm so charged by all the work that they're doing and their organizations are doing, and I'm very, very excited at the chance of spending this day listening to them and also interacting with them. So I want you guys to do a bunch of things while you all are in the audience. So first, of course I want you to listen with attention and maybe learn a lot of stuff today, but I also want you to spread this message. Now this conference is happening here in this room, but a lot of people who might want to be here might either not be here or might be in other parts of the world. So I really want you all to tweet actively, to put this on Facebook, to use it on different kinds of social media. We all have smartphones, so let's create this stream of thoughts and ideas from this conference that can then survive as some kind of digital archive. So these are the hashtags that you can use, and please tag us at Godrej Good Green so that we know that you're tweeting about us. Also, we have incredible prizes for the greenest tweet, so that's further incentive for you to actually keep on tweeting. But of course, connecting online is one thing, but as I said earlier, things are important when you connect offline. So for those of you who are in this room, please use, preferably not when presentations are on, but we have enough breaks for networking and for mingling, and your amazing lunch has been prepared again in-house here, over which I hope we can all mingle, interact with each other, talk to the speakers, and share ideas and knowledge about creating a better planet. So have a great day. I'd like to invite Mr. Jamshyd to inaugurate this with a talk, and a very brief introduction. Mr. Jamshyd Godrej is the Chairman and Managing Director of Godrej and Manufacturing Company Limited. It's the holding company of the Godrej Group. He is the trustee and president emeritus of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, India. He's also the chairperson of the board of directors of Shakti Sustainable Energy Foundation and the chairman of India Resources Trust. He's also the chairman of the CII Sorabji Godrej Green Business Center, which interestingly is housed in an LED platinum demonstration building, which was the first green building in India and the greenest building in the world at that time. So, Jamshyd, thank you for
Thanks, Parmesh, and congratulations to you and the entire team in Good and Green for organizing this water conclave. I think it's most appropriate that our first conclave is on water. I think we all take water for granted very easily, but I think those of us who've been involved in many of the issues surrounding water realize what a scarce commodity it is. And amazingly, despite the fact that it's such a scarce commodity, nobody wants to price it correctly. And that's, I think, one of our biggest challenges. In industry, I think that the value of water, the value of clean water is just incredible. I think that if you really had to put a proper value on water, I think our whole outlook and approach to issues to do with water would change drastically. And so I think that this is one of the, talked about areas, but needs a lot more study. And so I'm very much happy and pleased that many organizations that I've been connected with over the years have been working in this area quite significantly. And you will hear later in the day about how technology can be put to use in order to be able to track water and the water risks involved, how the stress of drinking water has become so much dependent on the monsoons. I met our Agriculture Minister, Mr. Sharad Pawar, a few days ago, and he was telling me that he was visiting central Maharashtra where the monsoons had failed, and people there were getting water by tanker once in 14 days, and just for drinking purposes. So I think we realize how much of a stress populations are being put. And of course, there has always been this proverbial story that the next war is going to be on water. I'm not so sure about that, but it's a nice thing to say just by passing. So this is incredibly important, not just for industry. I think it's incredibly important for civil society. I think it's incredibly important for governments and policymakers at every level to focus on this issue and realize that just like we have to price electricity and so many other things, this is also something that we do have to be very much concerned about as a valuable product that is essential for life. So thank you, all of you, for being here. I really appreciate the enthusiasm that you have all shown and all the speakers who will come here to speak, and I'm sure it will be a great success. So Parmesh, to you and your teams, many thanks.
I can now invite Mr. Nadir Godrej to say a few words. Nadir, or NBG as he's popularly known as, is the Managing Director of Godrej Industries and the Chairman of Godrej Agrovet. He's played a really important role in developing the animal feed, agricultural input and chemical businesses in our group, and his research in all of these fields has resulted in several patents in the fields of agricultural chemicals and surfactants. NBG has won so many awards, some of which are the Globoy Lifetime Achievement Award, the OTAI Lifetime Achievement Award, and recently the Chemtech CFW Leadership and Excellence Achievement Award. He's also got a whole bunch of awards from the French, including the National Order of the Legion of Honor. Sometimes they like to claim him as their own but we like to claim him as our own poet laureate within the Godrej group. So, NBG.
Thanks, Parmesh. Thanks to the team for organizing this wonderful conference. Though it's true that this planet's called Earth, this should actually be cause for much mirth. I'm sure that your astronomy teacher said that water's its distinguishing feature. And indeed, by all rights, we all ought to call this planet not Earth, but just water. As 3/4 of its surface is sea, so no shortage is apparent to me. But indeed, there are people who say that the wars that may now come our way will be fought over water, not land. But that's something I'll never understand. Now, some folks might well think I'm at fault for forgetting the oceans have salt. But I feel if we ponder on this, some seawater could be used as it is, for both cleaning as well as cultivation, and much more with some desalination. It's quite true that this process isn't cheap, but we don't need to make this big leap if there isn't demand at that price. All the same, you'll agree it's quite nice, for it shows that much water is there if we are willing to pay a price that is fair. Now, all water that's free would be short. At right prices, much more can be bought. And of course, if we cleverly apply good solutions, we could always supply a good deal of the water we need, as well as for much of our greed. Transportation of water costs a lot, though through harvesting much can be got. Because water is so tricky to fetch, it makes sense to find ways to make it stretch. It could surely be used more than twice, and then cleaned for a reasonable price. But in time, the cost of cleaning will fall, while proceeding to cleverly install new techniques that permit us to clean each and every impurity foreseen. If we now take a look at demand, very quickly we'll all understand that the share of agriculture is huge. All the same, the adroit subterfuge of ensuring there is a right price will give us the solution in a trice. Drip irrigation first comes to our mind, and those using it invariably find yield improves and yet water is spared. Then the acreage could surely be fair of those crops that are guzzling too much. Sugarcane could be seen as one such. Hydroponics could of course be applied, bioreactors could also be tried. These techniques could ensure that we lose much less water, reducing its use. If there are price we are required to pay, we will definitely find a good way. Some might wonder why we want to charge the impoverished people at large. Some small quota that's free would be fine, but for more we should pay, I opine. For out there are solutions, I dare say, and we'll hear more about them all day. Thank you.